Hello everyone. Today we're beginning lesson 25, which has us working with tens and ones and adding them. This is something we do have some experience with, so it will be not too unfamiliar to us, but we will be learning some new things with adding and subtracting tens. Keep in mind that a 10 is made up of 10 ones. So the ones are the little blocks, and the tens, sometimes we call 10 rods. They're the tall towers, and we'll be looking at those more as we get started. So let's take a look at our first problem. It says John uses 20 blocks. Then he uses 20 more. How many blocks does John use in all? Let me read that again. Continue thinking about what the problem is asking me. John uses 20 blocks. He then uses 20 more. How many blocks does John use in all? All right, in all, those are big keywords, friends. Those words tell us that we are going to add. When we're doing in all, we're combining groups. So we're going to take a look at John's blocks. Now, we could draw 20 individual blocks and then 20 more, but we know that an easier, quicker, better way is by drawing tens. So let's think, how many tens would we have to draw to get his first 20 blocks? How many tens? We would need 2 tens. So I'm going to draw 2 tens. Remember, they're going to be tall towers. Each one stands for 10 blocks. So we can count 10, 20. There's his 20 blocks. He then uses 20 more. It seems like we have to draw the same thing again to show his 20 more blocks. So let's do that. Here's another 10, 20. How many blocks does John use in all? Let's make sure we did this correctly. So we have John uses 20 blocks, then he uses 20 more. Okay, we have our 2 groups of 20. Let's count by tens to see how many blocks he uses in all. 10, 20, 30, 40. He uses 40 blocks in all. He started with 20. He used 20 more. He ended up with 40 blocks in all. Go ahead and put 40 on the line at the bottom. Okay, when you've done that, you can flip to the back side of this page. And here we see some tens in different ways. We see individual balls here. We have some red ones and some yellow ones. So these directions say add in 2 different ways. So we need to take a look at what we have in our picture here. So we see a group of red balls, a group of yellow, another group of yellow. Let's see how many we have in each group. Can you count with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we know that this is a group of 10. This group looks exactly the same except for the color. So it's safe to say that this is a group of 10 also. And finally, another group of 10. All right, so how can we jot this down to show what we have up here? It says balls, and more balls is balls. So what they want us to do is take a look at the 2 different groups we have here. See this big space in between our 2 groups? So in our first group, we have how many? 10 balls. Please put 10 on this line. 10 balls and more balls. Okay, this is our next group of balls. It looks like a lot more than here, but I remember that this is a group of 10 and this is a group of 10. Go ahead and circle those on your paper if you would like to show the 2 groups of 10 with the yellow balls. That might make it easier to keep it straight in your head what we're looking at here. All right, so in our second group, we have 10, 20. There are 20 balls in our second group or our yellow group. Please put 20 on this line. So far we have 10 balls and 20 more balls is balls. So we need our total number of balls right here. You can add these 2 numbers to find your total, or you can count in our picture again to find your total. I'm going to count by tens in our picture to make sure I have the right answer. 10, 20, 30. 10 balls and 20 more balls is 30 balls. Go ahead and put 30 on that line. Okay, so another way is by looking at our tens. Now these tens are just turned sideways, but they're the tens or 10 rods that we've been talking about and using previously. So let's take a little closer look at this one here. So again, we have two groups. We see a separation in our groups right here. 10 and more tens is tens. So we want to first focus on this group, and that number is going to go here. Then we're going to focus on this group, and that number will go here. Our total will go here. Listen to the problem again. 10 and more tens is tens. All right. So looking at this, we see how many tens in this first group. Some of you might be thinking 1, some of you might be thinking 10. The correct answer is 1 10. We're not going to say 10 tens. We're looking at 1 10 here. Remember, a 10 is when we have a group of 10 ones all stuck together. That's what we see here. We see 1 10. If you were thinking 10 tens, that would not be correct because we'd have to see 10 of these. Do we see 10 of these? No. We see 1 10. So 1 should go on our line right here. 1 10. All right, let's look at our second group, which is going to go on this line. How many tens do we see in our second group? 1, 2. 2 tens. Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to say 10, 20. We do not have 20 more tens in this group. This is not 20 tens. That's an easy mistake to make because it can get confusing if we're counting by ones or counting by tens. But the words in our problem are always going to direct us as to what we're counting by. So when it says tens, you're counting how many tens you see. We see 2 tens here, so please put 2 more tens right here. We're going to put 2 on this line so that it says 2 more tens. Now we need our total. 2 more tens is tens. Let's count how many tens we have. We're going to count by ones because we want to know how many 10 rods we have. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 tens. Please put 3 on this line to show 3 tens. When you're ready, go ahead and take the next page, which is our green page. It says prepare for adding and subtracting tens at the top. Okay, our directions say, think about what you know about groups of 10. Fill in each box. Use words, numbers, and pictures. Show as many ideas as you can. All right, so our focus word here is tens. We see it right here. We need 3 examples to explain what tens are. Remember, we can use words, numbers, and pictures for our examples. All right, so I'm thinking about using a picture for my first example. How can we draw an example of tens? Well, we can draw tens, 10 rods. If we draw 3 10 rods, it would show us 3 tens. Go ahead and draw 3 tens in your first picture to show an example of what tens are. If you don't want to do 3 tens, you can do as many tens as you'd like. So we're just doing long, skinny lines for that to show tens. As we talked about before, it's not necessary to put a long rectangle with all the individual squares in there. We know that long lines or long rectangles stand for tens. So there's our first example. As always, please pause if you need more time before going on to the next one. All right, for our next example, we can show groups of 10 like we saw up here with our red and yellow groups of balls. So let's do that for our next example. What can we draw? Well, here's my example. If we draw 2 groups of 10 using circles or balls, or ones, then here's what we have. 2 tens and 2 more tens is 4 tens. So we see our 2 tens. Here's 1 10, 2 tens. 2 more tens, 1 10, 2 tens. Altogether, how many tens do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tens. That can be your second example. And for our last example, we can use numbers and words. So this example says 4 tens is 40. It's important for us to know the different names of what we can call our groups. So 4 tens is the same as 40. Why? Because let's look back at this example. When we have 4 tens, as we see in our center example here, if we want to know what number that equals, we just count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40. 4 tens is 40. Okay. At the bottom, fill in the blanks for the base 10 blocks shown. So we see tens and more tens is tens. Okay, we've done a couple like this. How many tens do we see here, friends? Is it 2 or 20? It's 2. 2 tens. 1 10, 2 tens. Please put 2 on this line. How many more tens do we have in our next group? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more tens. We need to put a 4 right here. So 2 tens and 4 more tens is tens. We can add 2 plus 4 to find our answer. We can also count what we see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 tens is our answer. That's how many we have total. Flip to the back side. And it says solve the problem, add in 2 different ways. So here's our first way. We're looking at groups of red balls and yellow balls again. Our first group is the red balls. But within this big group, we have some smaller groups. We see some groups of 10 right here. Here's a group of 10. Here's a group of 10. Again, if you would like to circle those groups of 10 on your paper, you can. So you would put a circle around this group of 10 to show that it's 10. A circle around this group to show that it's 10. Same for here. Circle, circle, circle. All right, how many balls do we have in our first group? Okay, notice it says balls and not tens. We're not counting how many tens we have, we're counting how many balls we have. Let's count by tens to see how many red balls we have. 10, 20. 20 goes on this line. How many yellow balls? Let's count by tens. 10, 20, 30. 30 goes on this line. So 20 balls and 30 more balls is balls. Let's either add these numbers up or count our picture by tens. I'm going to count our picture by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 is our total number of balls that goes on this line. In our final problem, here we're back to pictures of tens. How many do we have in our first group? Tens and more tens is tens. How many tens do we see here, friends? 1, 2, 2 tens. How many tens do we see here? 1, 2, 3. 3 more tens. What's our total number of tens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 goes here. So it says 2 tens and 3 more tens is 5 tens. All right, great job with this session, everyone. Thank you.